Alright, my dudes, thought I would do a quick sausage party just because Vanessa gave me some shekels and I wasn't really doing much anyways because I'm like really sick of astrology. But thank you, Vanessa, for giving me some shekels, and thank everyone who gave me shekels this month. This channel is supported by the audience, so thank you for all the donations. I guess there's some stuff to talk about. I mean, I should try to talk about Harry Potter and the magical elixir while I can. It's getting to that point where you really cannot. But I want to answer a lurker's. Normally I ask if I can even post this, but this is from a lurker. I mean, you won't mind, right? I'll answer some of your questions right now. Okay, so this is from one of my lurker audience. I have a lot of lurkers on my channel.
I Pink.
Yes, sir.
In your recent show.
Or whatever pronoun you would prefer.
In your recent show, To Sausage Fest
Yes.
or Not, you asked for show topics.
Yeah, dude, I asked for show topics just because I'm at the point where I'm bored or stuck. I mean, it's really the astrology that is getting in the way. I mean, I always said astrology is going to be the death of me, or the death of my channel, because that's how much I hate astrology. I've gone through like 6-7 books with astrology. I mean, it's pretty fine. I mean, I'm at the point of just straight up memorization. It's really just memorization at this point, but whatever.
I thought of 2 for your consideration. 1. Matt often talks about how there is a reality generating machine.
Yeah, the reality generation machine is you, like in the Matrix. The system needs you to generate the reality for them, but then again, even though I say that, it's like this what's that, Rubik gold machine. It's built on a mechanized logarithmic system. I mean, it's really in coordinates with what is it? It's the Vitruvius model, like whatever the Logi boys learn with sacred geometry. It's the color spectrum, golden ratio, proper identifications of certain aspects, especially when it comes to numbers, electricity, magnetism, color, and of the zodiacal wheel. I mean, all those things coalesce with one another to create a certain result, and that result is the Minecraft No Man's Sky generated world that you see. I mean, once you understand that's very methodical, mechanical, which is, why the Gnostics would say is by the demiurge, this mechanical, dead AI thing that Sophia birthed without permission or because she was dumb or whatever. I mean, that's where it really comes from. That's why this Matrix stuff really comes from more of this digital gnosis stuff. I mean, even, didn't Madame Blavatsky talk about like this being a digital world? Like, we are actually in the simulacra of a simulation. I mean, that's why stuff is weird. I mean, a lot of what people think is real isn't really real. I can tell you what the real is. The real is you not in your goddamn physical body, which traps you and limits in your focus, like basically like a laser beam. It does very specific things. Like Levette says, oh, you can touch and feel each other and hold hands. I mean, like a knife, it is like a tool. That knife can cut a carrot to make a salad, or it can stab. I mean, you give and you take, but I mean, there's very specific rules to this quote-unquote reality generation machine, and it's not really as aware as people think. Like SQS would say, it's blind idiot god. It's vampiric, parasitic. It relies on the law of causality, perfect harmony, resetting of entropy, the atomization of the atom. Like, goddamn, who was it? Was it Alice Bailey that talks about the something about the consciousness of the atom? It has a very specific modality of it. Basically, I mean, even if you're looking from a scientific point of view, a scientific point of view would say that we are slaves to the mitochondrial of the cell. Like, we are nothing more than a vehicle itself for the propagation of the cell, and the cell itself, I mean, just if you want to go through like the microcosm of how things are really work, which means that it's much more insidious even on a cellular level. If you care to think like this, I mean, this is actually a very complex subject. So
Matt often talks about
That's why like people like like people say there's like a Crow 777's a great one. There's perfection in nature. You ever seen a spider and the relationship between a spider and a fly? That's perfection. Come on, man.
Matt,
Like, you ever seen a goddamn chimpanzee war in the jungle? Like, I watched that chimpanzee war documentary of the Kawasaki tribe. I mean, back in the 60s, they thought that all chimpanzees were nice fruit-eating chimpanzees and just had peace and harmony in the jungle. Nope, turns out they were savages. They had wars and did terrible things, which is the predication of why humans were chosen in the first place. But, you know, if I keep further talking about these topics, it gets very, very fairy tale. Because, look, TLDR, look, what is it? I mean, ascended ethereal light beings came down from another goddamn place in the universe or whatever, or different realm, came over here, much higher intelligence, whatever, imparted a piece of what they were through genetic gene manipulation with certain monkey races, which is why there's that missing link thing, and they created you and a god or your progenitor in the lab. There's actually a lot of stories that talks about this, but then people pew it, and then they're like, oh, well, how come humans are so different from all the other creatures here? Oh my god, how come we can never find a missing link? Because the missing link is goddamn simple, alright? The gods created you, alright? Or the Elohim of the angels, as it was written by the Bible, which has changed the word later to say God. We were created in God's image. Oh no. Look, man, it says Elohim. That means group of angels. That's why it goes back to Gnosticism. And that's why, I personally can't trust. Well, I mean, look, this is why I can't talk about this. It's too far out there. But, once you realize the core of the issue of where these things go back, you can actually figure out your animal nature, your mental nature, and then your spiritual nature. But it really goes back to the causation of everything. And then you really have to look at the machine generation itself. So, because the machine generation, man, I call it the blind idiot God. Azathoth, he who sits at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, which would be, Jabulon, Brahma. I mean, but then there's the Parabrahma, that's different. Look, man, it's kind of weird. I mean, look, the angel of the abyss. I mean, I've never talked about the angels of the abyss. Like Abaddon, the angel of the abyss, is another name for Jabulon. If you care about these topics, but like I'm like, I get sick and tired of talking about such obscure esoteric topics that no one really understands. Like, I'm talking about no one. Like, this stuff was struck from the record from the Royal Arch degrees, like out of London, okay? No one knows what I'm talking about when I talk about these topics. It becomes so goddamn nebulous.
Matt often talks about how there is a reality generating machine.
Oh, there is.
That is.
I would say it's blind, idiotic, parasitic, vampiric, Ouroboros in nature. It's very cruel. I mean, it's cruel, and all that it inflicts is suffering with the hopium carrot, alright? Like, we really are in some sort of situation where it's like you're getting beat with a stick all day with the promise of a carrot, and 99% of people don't get that carrot.
For any event, it is not always the guys at the lodge calling things.
Even the guys at the lodge, they're more like foot soldiers. I mean, Levette's pretty much right about them. I would say 90% of them are just there for the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the friendship, and the connections, obviously. You might have 10% of them at the top that sort of tries to figure it out, but they're compartmentalized. Then you have, the 1% at the very, it's a pyramidal structure. I mean, they're true believers, and then they're actually, well, those are the ones in a physical form. You can only get to 32 degrees in a physical form. 33 is honorary, then you go through the astral realms, which you should have done through your initiations. Look, I really can't talk much about this. That's the problem. because it's too obscure. I mean, it really scares or freaks people out when I talk about this stuff like this openly. But dude, because I don't care, all right? Like, if I want to have a talk with the Invisible Masters, I'll just talk with them and sort it out with them. It's not that big of a deal to me. Like, I literally don't care.
For any event, it is not always the guys at the lodge calling things.
No, dude, they're not calling things. They're the foot soldiers. Let's get that clear. Like, we're in some sort of goddamn reality TV show, right? Like, there's a reason why people make up that who done it, all right? And then I really try not to talk badly about Matt, so I'm not going to say anything.
For any event, it is not always the guys at the lodge calling things.
Yep.
Or dark wizards manipulating our shared reality, or is it?
Dark wizards manipulating our shared reality. I mean, it goes beyond dark wizards. I mean, they do illustrate it in, what is it, iPad Go 2? Remember this? iPad Go 2, a classic. Yeah. Go Ahriman, go Ahriman. Yeah, look at that. Ooh. That's Ahriman, my boys. This is the negative masculine aspect of the martial law of Mars, Ahriman. The other side would be Venus, Lucifer. On the red strings. Oh my god. Dance monkey dance. Yeah. Look, puppets on a stage, alright. I got a very specific job to do. But you're talking about people pulling the strings? Hold on, we'll go back. That's goat. Poor goat. I mean, look, this is why I don't talk about this. This shit gets pretty dark. Now, you said dark wizards? Did I ever say that these dark wizards were necessarily in the living flesh? No. Alright, look, things are weirder than they seems. And that's why we're in such a wacky scenario. But whatever, dude. Like, whatever, man. Okay, let's see. Dude, I'll keep playing this. I want to stop interrupting. So, I mean, this is a... I don't know if I can even keep this up for long, the way I'm talking.
Or dark wizards manipulating our shared reality, or is it? For example...
It is all of the above. There is a general reality generation machine. It can be figured out, unlike Matt, who says, we'll never figure it out. It can be figured out. People have figured it out before, all right? And how you use it, it reflects back onto you of your actions, like ceremonial magic or ritual magic, or just simple, cause and effect. Action and reaction. Causality, like the Merovingian. Like the Merovingian line, they figured it out right away and been using what they learned for like hundreds of years. Hundreds of years, the French Secret Society. Yeah, hundreds of years. Okay.
For example, the synchronicity in the Lincoln/Kennedy assassinations or the Peter Stuyvesant cigarette commercial. I think there is...
Okay, when it comes to, well, those two presidents, I mean, that would be more of this echoing, like this reverberation of a reality that doesn't seem as it's real, but there is a script being played, and in this script process, I would say that it repeats out cycling based on the rotational crossing of the planets in a certain manner, right? Like there's a lot more specific things in that. It has to do with the transcendencies. Like we're going through this process right now. But I mean, there's a lot to those two presidents, which I cannot talk about. All right, the Civil War was not about slavery. All right, I'll tell you that right now. What do you think of JFK and people of secret oaths and secret whatever? Look, man, here's Knights Columbus. I cannot tell you the real reason what was going on with JFK. All right, there's a lot of things I cannot say online. Okay, all right, dude. I mean, whatever, dude. As for the Peter Stuyvesant thing, that's I would say that's less relevant. It's this thing that happens when you tap into the collective unconsciousness. Like you feel this reverberation. Like imagine like the thoughts of 1 billion people are in like a sea of oceans above you, and you can feel that sea of ocean, and then you can actually grab it and take from that idea, and it projects out into art, music, whatever. So basically, it's like Michael Jackson. He said, I just thought of a song. I gotta write it down and make the song first before Prince taps into the collective unconsciousness of the sea of whatever, which is dictated by the flow of the sea of thoughts that is affected by where the sky clock is, the stars. All right, that's why, when the stars align. I mean, this has to do with the way the goddamn game, The Matrix, works. But if we're talking about, the Lincoln and JFK synchronicities, that one is much, much more elaborate, which I do not believe I can discuss. I mean, this is the goddamn age we live in. Like, some people know what I'm talking about, but I cannot discuss that. But if it's the Peter Stuyvesant thing, I mean, that one is very simple, all right? It's like this collective reverberation. And, when it comes to quote-unquote time travel, I've never really talked about this either, but this time travel where the future is fluid, but it hasn't happened yet. It's merely branching between rivers. But from our point of view, we're all in the now, and the past has already happened. But if you're talking about can you go into future, then you're going to be dealing with the Men in Black, the Hat Men, or the the people from Fringe, or these beings who sit in the quote-unquote center of the galaxy in a timeless zone, like my Moksha video. And these guys do not play, right? Our world is stranger than you think. We're in some sort of goddamn virtual reality TV show, carnival, clown show ruled by Mickey Mouse. All right, there's a point to this. That's why I call it the game of Dharma. Like, I'm really only interested in winning the game for myself and leaving Disney realm, really. So a lot of the stuff that even I look at these days, I would call them fascinations. They're there to give you affirmations, reminders of what's going on, if you can read the signs or stars or figure out the clues. They're there for a reason. The people you see on stage, they have to tell you. It's just a matter of whether or not you can figure it out. So, like, I actually think the game is very fair. That's my problem. I think that they follow all the rules. They're masters of quote-unquote playing the games by the rules in this weird karma sort of way where they have to do and tell you everything ahead of time. Which is why last time I figured out when the clampdown was happening, and then was it 4 or 5 days ago, I knew that they were going to do this stupid shit because I got a big clue with the word delta. I mean, that means change. It's triangle in Greek. The triangle is a very specific sign in relationship to the trines, and it does a very specific thing. And I knew that the dog days of summer were coming when Sirius is in alignment. Okay.
I think there is some merit to this.
And I'm talking about, like, come on, man. I mean, look. You actually have to understand even older books. Like, I'm gonna play this audio clip from. This book must have been written in like the 70s or 80s.
Around the countercultural milieu of the 60s and 70s, I kept stumbling across accounts of extraordinary experience that possessed some eerie resonances with 2374. These included narratives from the writer Robert Anton Wilson, who spent most of 1974...
Robert Anton Wilson, he's the author who wrote Illuminatus. He was part of the Discordian Society, which had direct relationships with what was happening with JFK. I cannot talk a lot about this. Like, I'm serious.
In a reality tunnel, in which the esoteric conspiracy theories he had cranked out...
The esoteric conspiracy theories, look, people think we're special or things have really changed. Look, the more things seem like they change, the more they stay the same. This game, it's actually very consistent. That's what I've noticed.
Out in his Pulp Fiction doorstop, Illuminatus, intruded into his life in the guise of apparent communications.
Well, it is very important. Apparent communications.
From discarnate aliens linked to the star system Sirius.
Discarnate aliens linked with the star system Sirius. So why is it that Antoine Wilson said that discarnate alien spirits from Sirius? Why is it that in Philip K. Dick, Exit Valis, one of the main plot points of the movie was after that figuring out the truth drops in movies, which Matt did not come up with, or RV. It came from goddamn Philip K. Dick from that far ago. If I knew that, I would have never made a YouTube channel. Why is it that after they figured out the esoteric mysteries of revealing a different, future, and they had to go to some weird people who said that they had an alien baby, which is obviously a reference to Sophia, in a reborn calca of a Messiah savior figure from Sirius or whatever, All right. Look, dude. I mean, shit's weird. I mean, things never change. That's what I learned. Like, I'm reading the goddamn same script over and over and over again.
I think there is some merit to this.
Like, why do you think Day-Live showed you that, humanity loses by 2025? This stuff is very predictable. It's cyclical.
Theory, but would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yep.
2. Do you see any value in learning to astral travel as a way to prepare?
Yes, obviously. I pew it, but then again, look, if I have to be honest, all right, if I never had my astral travel experiences, whatever, like if you watch Pink Elephant in Prisoners of Earth, you know what I'm talking about. This weird buzzing in the fly. I saw the geometric triangle portal gateways with the emerald tractor beam zooming light. I went through some weird goddamn Stargate out in stars through my pineal DMT, blah blah blah. Managed with their body floating in space, saw a goddamn weird geometric light show, then got intercepted by the Invisible Masters. Look, if I never had that experience, and I had that experience at my death now, I would be freaked out, and I wouldn't know what to do. But since I had it so many times for like a whole year, I don't really care if it happens. I'm just ready for it because it's like, whatever, dude. I've already done this like 1,000 times. All right, it's like going to a roller coaster for the first time, or imagine going to the Superman roller coaster, right? It's the first time. And you never had it before, so you're gonna do it. I mean, you're gonna be scared or freaked out. But imagine you've been doing it for like 1,000 times. It's gonna mean nothing to you, right? So there is value in it. I pew it because just because I find it's more important for you to focus on your position now. Like the Buddha said, when the others were asking him, "Oh Buddha, what was the other 10,000 worlds?" Were like, dude, in the words of the Buddha, dude, why do you care what the other 10,000 worlds are like? Your predicament, your perspective is here now. So why do you keep looking out there when you should be looking in here, inside you? Which is why the Buddha himself never talked about the spirit world or astral traveling, because he realized that there was a trap in focusing on things on the external and not focusing things on internal. If you literally, fix your own problems, purify the spirit, actualize the spirit, you liberate the spirit automatically through enlightenment. Then it doesn't matter either way. Like I always say that water finds its own level. So basically, if you imagine you spent your whole lifetime trying to figure out how to astral travel, but you didn't bother purifying your spirit or reaching enlightenment, you're gonna lose by default. I mean, that's why he said it that way. But even though I say it in such a ethereal way, at the end of the day, I mean, I would rather sink back to the state I was before I was born. So, because I do have some understanding of this quote unquote transmigration of the soul. Even though later people may say that it may not exist. From everything I've read, look, man, the secret societies, they make a mock initiation ritual. I mean, their initiation rituals these days are goddamn pathetic. All right, they admit it themselves. They say that, all this stuff was actually supposed to be done in the astral realm, or if we did it in real life, it actually was supposed to made you feel like you were really gonna die, like you actually felt like I can't really talk too much about these initiation processes, but look, man, that's why no one can figure it out. I mean, it's done in the goddamn astral realm. And these signs are used to signal, hand signs are used to signal each other in the astral realm, in the future to send a message into the past and the now through the dream world. Like, it's kind of weird, but a lot of stuff that's done in the physical, that means nothing. It's because people, they're too literalist. So, I mean, but even though I talk like this, it's so unbelievable, ethereal. Unless you're like a super high level person, you're not going to believe me. But if you're a super high level person, then you're going to listen to every word I say.
Do you see any value in learning to astral travel as a way to prepare oneself for death? That is, will the experience of the astral realm offer?
Well, you've read Tibetan Book of the Dead. You should know. You go through this process. You're not supposed to carry fear or sadness, or else it'll attract these lesser consciousness beings. Even Robert Monroe talks about this when you travel through the astral realm. These incarnate, disembodied spirits that are lesser consciousness beings, they become this amalgamated form that could not pass through the veil and becomes a shadow of the soul that it was attached to, and becomes like these parasitic leeches, really, that wants to suck your loosh, but it doesn't have a reason to, and it just becomes like clutter and garbage. So there's lots of things that can happen. Usually you're supposed to go through the journey. Ideally you would have a guide, which is why in the Greek they would have Charon, the boatman, so they buried people with the 2 silver coins of the eyes to pay as payment for Charon. It's really just, you know, a token offering. Or if Lord Anubis comes, like in Gods of Egypt, you're just to say, "Oh, Lord Anubis, thank you for guiding me through the spirit world upon the journey of the dead." And you're supposed to be super respectful as you go through this process. Where you enter in line, you meet the Harkas, which is the Harkas is afterwards. You're supposed to go through the quote-unquote judgment of your life review against yourself. I mean, that's why some people have asked me, Pink, could you be my spirit guide and help me along the way? I'm just doing the goddamn... I mean, it could be me, it could be like your reflection image of me, depending on the agreement made between us. But it's basically just doing something that should have been done for you anyways, which is through the journey of the dead. Like it could be, like basically, you could be creating an after image for Chiron, the boatman, or Lord Anubis, but because in our time we don't have anything like that, you're on your goddamn own. All right. If you watch the video, was it my birthday special, where Aline journeys through the underworld and she fell through the dark waters of oblivion, just kept falling and falling and falling? It's because there was no boat and there was no guide. So what happened? She kept falling and falling until these goddamn Disney Realm Imagineers that look like robots, because their shape is more square, triangle, square. I mean, they were gonna rip apart her soul, drain her loosh, and rip her apart until her spirit would remanifest itself in the animus form and come back as a conscious reincarnation entity back into the material plane. Alright, I mean, look, a lot of weird stuff can happen. I never talk about these things because it is so far out there. Alright, like even stuff I'm saying right now, I've pretty much kept to myself. But these days, it's because time's running out, so I don't really care what I say that much these days.
Any useful experience to avoid tricks or traps during the in-between?
I would highly recommend Tibetan Book of the Dead. You go through this natural journey process. You're supposed to memorize colors. You're supposed to feel for the clear rainbow light. Different lights have different colors. They'll give you different feelings. It's really, these feelings interact like a vibrational source, like or a sensor source against your heart's desires anyways, which is why I always tell people you need to kill fascination, you need to kill your desires, or you're going to automatically open the portal. But whatever, dude. I mean, a lot of people don't even believe in this Stargate or portal stuff anyways, which is basically true. It's talked about like everywhere.
Any useful experience to avoid tricks or traps during the in-between? Feel free to put these on the back burner, as I know you are busy with.
Yeah, dude, didn't you read the Egyptian Metaphysics of the Dead? It's the reinterpretation of the Egyptian Book of the Dead by Manly P. Hall. I mean, it goes through this. You can read Alvin Boyd Kuhn's. But then he's talking about the whole star journey. Like, there is a goddamn process of going through the stars, or how people want to go to Pleiades, or Lavette wants to go to Fomalhaut because it's the place of wishes and dreams, very imaginative, so it is easier to create your own quote-unquote realm there. I mean, a lot of things can happen. A lot of people want to go different places. Some people want to go to Sirius because it's the beautification of the beauty of the double diamond dog star. That's why it's the most beautiful star, the most shining star in that area. Some people want to go to goddamn Regulus because it's the lion's paw holding of the sun. So when it holds the spiritual sun, it gets the most golden power, which is why in some of these new agey people, they say that, oh, I met this beautiful being and it was all gold. All gold. It was so, I wanted to be perfect like it. I mean, there's this idea that there's something to this idea of the perfecta light being, and you can tell based on coloration, maturation of its aura, its glow when it's in the non-physical. If people care, but I mean, I've talked about enough about this topic. Look, this topic is like really out there. I almost never talk about this topic anymore, just because it's like, it's very, very difficult to source. So, I mean, honestly, I would have to write my own goddamn book if I was going to get into real detail about this topic. Whatever, dude, that just takes care of the noob. So that would be my lurker. I do want to get this book, Technosis.
Casting the planet as a net,
Yeah,
and
net.
flesh
A net. It's the etheric barrier. Oh my god, John Dee talked about it. And then we need to be like silicon Cylons to escape the etheric barrier of the Van Allen radiation belt. And it was pre-predicted, and the knowledge was given to us by these weird interdimensional aliens thing for the Queen of England like 400 years ahead, which is why we're entering this goddamn clown show right now. A lot of this stuff they plan out, like I'm talking, they got their mission statements 400 years ahead of time. Like, what do you think all the silicon-based transistor or semiconductor technology is? I mean, even Harry Potter and Magical Elixir has something to do with this, where they're like merely step phasing people into, but it's based on generational cycles. So I mean, do whatever, dude. I mean, can I even talk about what's coming up? I do whatever, I don't care. I've already talked enough about it. It's just too risky. I mean, look, man, you're gonna get banned. Like, look, man. I mean, look, Matt's very smart to make free voice, because I can't see him being on here much longer if he keeps talking about this stuff. Drew, I know a lot of people come from Drew, which is why I talk about Drew. Like, I did watch his latest 2, what is it, Delusions and Dragons or something. Look, man, I mean, look, I already know the plan ahead of time. Like, they do not hide it. It's like in the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis. There's going to be two types of people. People who accept the technology and live in the cities, or people who are usually, trad con, religious fundamentalist Christians. They'll be thrown into shanty towns with no technology, no nothing. They'll be treated like the Native Americans, all right? And it'll be a goddamn ghetto chimpanzee fight club, okay? It's even in Brave New World. I got Peacock just to watch the new Brave New World. We're entering into a very Brave New World scenario. But it's 1984 for the people who can see. So, I mean, look, like, I can't even see Drew being on YouTube for very long, because he already got a strike on his main channel. With the things he talks about, I mean, look, man, even I try not to talk about anything like that, and we keep on going about it in that way where we talk about quote unquote defending yourself. Look, man, they've already won. We've already reached the point of no return. I mean, the idiots voted for this. I mean, you had record turnout for El Presidente, Mr. T, the greatest Pied Piper in history, and the other guy, Uncle Bagel. Okay, look, man. Unfortunately, the normies and the NPCs. Look, the Greeks were right. All right, we will never have freedom so much as this type of system exists, which is why they hated democracy. Okay, whatever. I can't talk too much about that. So what else do I got to talk about? Do I still have any time to talk about stuff? 2:20. Yeah, dude, I'll talk a little bit. Okay, dude, I got to talk about the reboot. Really, once I get the astrology charts and the other stuff done, which is what is it? Exegesis breakdown. The 2 movie breakdowns, The Matrix, Dorothy, Wizard of Oz done, the private request done. I mean, I might relaunch the channel, because, dude, I have a feeling I'm gonna be here like until I'm gone. All right, like I'm really concerned that they're gonna do a second lockdown. If they do a second lockdown, then I pretty much have to make entertainment for people, because people have nothing to watch anyways. All right, we're getting to that goddamn point again. I think that worst case, I knew something was gonna happen, but I didn't really think it'd be Take 2 Clownverse Part 2. I should have never deleted that video. Remember the video made with my prediction? I said, oh, next thing they're going to do is they're going to use Think of the Children. And now they're actually using Think of the Children when they go back to school. I mean, when all the kids take the magical elixir, then they're doing each group demographic by group demographic, all right? Like, even for me, like, I've resisted, but I can already tell I'm going to be forced to take it one day. And look, man, it's either that or be homeless, right? Like, when you're in that situation, I would suggest you, to realize that, to not take the homeless route, okay? I find that a lot of this problem is people never, my family, we came from, quote unquote communism. We realized that we were slaves. The problem is Americans thought they were free, and now they realize that they were slaves. And then now they're freaking out because they're having a crisis of the ego, and then they're lashing out, they're talking tough, I'll never take the jab, but my kid has to go to school, so he has to take the jab, but I'm never taking the jab until I'm forced to take it, and then it becomes this, verbal bending of the knee. Look, dude, I don't even give a shit, right? I don't give a shit about masks. I do not get triggered when people, oh my god, are they NPCs? Oh, I must be special. Oh my god, I'm a real spirited soul being. All right. Look, if you came to my workplace and you saw me wearing a mask, would you think that I'm a real spirited being, or are you just going to think that you're special and I'm an NPC? All right, there's obvious logical problems here. Like, look, I don't want to be too mean, but we're in a shit situation. The bad guys are probably going to win at this point. It's almost game over. I'm pretty sure it's almost game over. I mean, the only thing we have to do really is sacrifice the boomers in Gen X. I mean, that's the people on a chopping block, and then the millennials are supposed to bring in the new generation. Gen Z will be the lost generation, just like they'll be just like the 08 millennials. Gen Alpha will be automatically stupid because they missed too much school. You can't just take kids out of learning for a certain amount of time. It messes up the way they learn, and they're already stupid because this is a failed experiment from screen time. So the millennials have to carry the future forward for whichever new generation. So really we have 2 generations that's about to be sacrificed. 2 generations which is going to be useless, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and then millennials have to carry things forward because I'm a millennial really, but it's that weird age thing where it's because age 25, it's like that period people between Gen Z and millennials. Look, this is a multi-generational plan. It's going to cycle out until really 2025 to win. It's going to cycle about 2032, whatever, dude, a lot of stuff's going to happen. I really can't talk about this, though. I mean, I've mentioned it before. Well, when it comes to the reboot, I mean, look, I mean, people got to let me know. I mean, I don't have to do this. This actually takes a lot of time. But if people want to reboot, I'm just going to go back to what I was doing before, but much more organized or structured. Like, I was thinking of having a Trolley VTubing news segment with my bunny rabbit owl. I could do a economics collapse CNBC report of the week and say inflation, buy this cryptocurrency, blah blah blah. I would want to do a book report each month, and I would assign a book that it just isn't a goddamn tome. Like, I am not going to assign books that are 60 hours and max cap 9 hours. I could do 1 movie, whatever, a month. I want to go back to doing variety shows and Saturday primetime shows. I mean, if people care, I mean, my audience is very small. I want to keep it small. I'm going to ban anyone I don't like again. But really, it's because, people give me shekels. People, give me shekels for services or private requests or answering stuff, which I don't mind, as long as, my show is really run by donations, which isn't that big of a deal. It takes a lot of time. People, look, you got to understand from my point of view. If you want to look at it from an hourly point of view, I get paid close to $3 an hour for the amount of time I put into this, and I really could just get a second job or just make way more and live a nice quiet life. But I'm just here to entertain the folks. I'm here to keep you guys busy while the world burns. All right, look, I'm actually a natural born doomer, because whatever, I'm a shitlord, but this stuff is getting pretty depressing. I mean, I might go back to trolling and memeing around. Remember when I made my commercials? Buy your Patriot food buckets. Look, man, we're in a shit situation. Everybody's banned off to YouTube, banned off YouTube and forced to go to BitChute and Odyssey. And I'm still here. I don't even got 1 goddamn strike. What is going on? Someone needs to give me a strike for something. I don't get it, man. Look, dude, this is just a quick update video. I would like to talk more about the reboot, because, really, I'm very disappointed that the movies that I would only be able to do is The Matrix and Wizard of Oz. I really do want to do Mr. Nobody, The Never Ending Story. I want to do Rick and Morty more. Rick and Morty is very important, but that stuff would really be after the reboot or after the end of the year or whatever. And then I still have to look at The Matrix 4. There's a lot of stuff. I could be kept here for a while, only if people want me. But I do feel like a lot of people are getting bored anyways. And if people want to move on and they want to tell me to move on and shut things down, that's fine. I can just close everything up and then whatever, people can do whatever. But look, I'm telling you right now, this goddamn clown show is gonna last a while, which is why I made this channel in the first place for me and TN, because we had nothing else to do. All right, dude, I'm not gonna hold you guys up too much longer. So I hope you guys have a good night, and I might do more videos this week and maybe talk more about the reboot later when I have a solid game plan, if people are interested. The real problem is that I've been off my schedule for a long time. I haven't done Saturday. I am a slave to the schedule. All right, I need a goddamn schedule. I want to go back to doing variety shows. I want to go back to doing Saturday primetime shows. I want to do one movie report, one book report, blah blah blah. Only if people are interested. I'll have to wait until after all my private requests are done, after all the astrology charts are done. All right. Okay, so I'll let you guys off. All right. Bye.